Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kyle Gouch. I'm a sergeant with the Harrisburg City Police Department. With me is Commissioner Carter. I don't think he really needs an introduction, but obviously the commissioner and I are up here. We're up here in reference to the incidents that occurred over the weekend. This past weekend, we had a couple shootings here in the city of Harrisburg. It all began Friday. I believe some of you were there at the one on Friday. Friday around 11:30 in the afternoon, we had a shooting in the first block of North Summit Street. Victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries, was transported to a local hospital. That investigation is still current, it's still ongoing. Later on in the afternoon, at around 7:45 in the evening, we had another shooting in the area of North 18th and Park Streets. That victim also suffered non-life-threatening injuries. He was transported to a local hospital where he is expected to be fine. I believe he's been discharged already, and that investigation is still currently going on. The third shooting that we had was an incident that occurred in the 300 block of South 13th Street. That victim subsequently suffered life-threatening injuries as a result of the shooting. He was transported to a local hospital where he later was pronounced deceased. He is deceased, and we are still, again, investigating that. I'm not going to release his name at this point in time. I don't know where the coroner's office is in reference to notification of family. I would imagine at this point in time the family has been properly notified, but without confirmation from the coroner's office, unfortunately, I'm not going to release his information. Then we had a quiet rest of the day, and then unfortunately Sunday evening or Sunday morning around 12:30 in the morning, we had a shooting incident. This took place in the 1900 block of State Street. That victim was also transported to a local hospital. I believe that victim is still at the hospital at this point in time. Again, non-life-threatening injuries, but the victim was in pretty serious condition at the time he was transported. I'm not sure of his current status, but he was expected to he was expected to survive. He was expected to live. That investigation is also ongoing. We did have a person of interest that was detained right there at the scene. That person of interest was transported to Harrisburg Police Department for questioning. And again, the detectives are still working that case right now, actually as we speak. The next one took place at 1:45 in the morning. This happened Sunday the 4th as well. Happened in the 300 block of Her Street. A gentleman was shot while in the 300 block of Her Street, and he was transported to a local hospital and subsequently transported to another hospital after the initial transport. He is expected to make a full recovery, and I believe he has been discharged as well at this point in time. That case as well is currently under investigation. And then the last one we had was we had a shooting incident. The victim in this case was not the most forthcoming. It happened somewhere in the uptown area, we believe on Radnor Street, but that victim, again, wasn't the most forthcoming as to where it occurred at. Officers did go up, did a canvass of the area, tried to find and locate a crime scene, but were not able to. That individual transported himself to local hospital. He has been discharged. Again, his injuries were not life-threatening, and at this point in time, that is still an active investigation, but it's challenging just based upon the fact that the victim was not the most forthcoming or cooperative. We don't believe any of these incidents are related to each other. We believe all of them were isolated. All of them were targeted, if you would. If you want to use the word targeted, that we don't believe there's a danger to the public, for lack of better terms. I guess that's pretty much all I have. I can open up some questions.
So how many does that make?
That was 6 total.
Over?
From Friday until Sunday.
Sunday morning? Or
Yep, Sunday.
So less than 48 hours.
Well, Friday to Sunday afternoon.
And what time did the one you said uptown, the one that didn't give much detail, what time was that? Sunday?
We got the call around 4 a.m. Sunday morning in reference to that. He actually just showed up at the local hospital.
Okay. How do you address the public, by putting this out there saying that there were 6 shootings? What do you have to say to the public?
Obviously, it's concerning when you have that many shootings in that time frame. The fact that all of them were isolated and were, again, for lack of better terms, targeted. We believe most of the victims and the suspects they know each other. Again, it's just a matter of going through and getting the victims to tell us what transpired and then move forward with the investigation. I don't feel as though any of these are going to be related to one another, nor do I feel as though there's a danger to the public as a result of this. It's just a pretty sad and unfortunate circumstance. Off the top of my head now, I know.
Could you shootings in about a 40-hour period, the toll it's taken on the police department?
I can tell you, uh, personally, I was out for all of them, and it does take a toll. It's very mind-numbing. Well, very mind-taxing, I should say, not numbing. The officers and the detectives that responded, the investigators, forensics investigators, they did an exceptional job on all of them. We just take it one at a time and continue to move forward. The resources, they were there for all of them. All of them are receiving a very good, very thorough investigation. It just takes time for them to come to fruition, these investigations, especially when you have that many in that short time period.
It's just ridiculous.
I don't know if ridiculous would be the best word, but I could use the word ridiculous. I would say it's unfortunate, it's very sad.
Were any gang related?
No, we have no knowledge that any of them are gang related.
Drug related?
No, we have no knowledge that any of them are actually drug related either.
It's not drugs, it's not gang. What is it? What is it? What causes, why six in such a short period of time?
What causes people to be violent to each other like that?
Sure.
It's a good question. Wish I could tell you.
Do you remember a time, do we have numbers on the time when we had a weekend that was this violent?
It's been a long time since I've seen this many shootings in that short of a time frame.
Is it because, the weather?
Yep.
I don't think it has anything to do with the weather or anything like that. It just has to do, with controlling people, what people do. It's not the first time that Harrisburg has had this many shootings, and I'm sure it won't be the last time either. But the main thing that we want to put out there is that the general public is not in danger. These look to be all incidents where the victim and the perpetrator, they know each other. So it's unfortunate because it has taxed my agency, not only physically, mentally, but when it comes to money too, having that many shootings in such short period of time. But Sergeant Gouch and Captain Whelan standing behind you in uniform patrol, and my forensics people, they all did an excellent job responding to each and every shooting. And we just want the general public to know that we're out there, we're taking care of business, and we will continue to do that.
Commissioner Hart, this is coming up close to a year now, and the shootings were happening towards the end of the summer, and we were talking about the community outreach and getting the community just targeting the violence. You guys have done the efforts in the schools, the partnership there, you guys have hosted the community forums. What else is there to do to target this issue of violence?
Well, I believe that households need to join us to talk to these youth, to talk to people, to let them understand, that violence get them nowhere. Owning guns at such a young age, and you're not legally licensed, will get you nowhere. And we just need more partnership among parents that want this city to move forward instead of going backwards.
And then, piggybacking off of that, just the efforts you guys have done, a number of efforts over the past year. You guys have continued those or increased those with these incidents that are happening now?
We're going to continue doing what we're currently doing. We also have other things planned, and we'll be letting them out, very, very shortly. Right now, I'm not going to talk on them. We're going to take care of the business at hand. I just hope that tonight my guys can get some sleep because they've been up, for almost 48 hours combating the current wave of shootings.
Slightly off topic, National Night Out tomorrow, given the recent events in El Paso and Ohio over the weekend, are there any changes that you guys are planning in security?
I really didn't want to talk about what's going on nationally here today, but if you look at what's going on nationwide, when it comes to these shootings, these guys don't usually shoot places up where there's going to be police officers at, and we'll have plenty of officers at National Night Out.